You're listening to episode 305 of the Major Issues Podcast, and on this episode, we review Marvel's 33rd entry in the MCU, The Marvels, and the implications that come from it. The Major Issues Podcast starts right now! Hello, everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're listening to this, you can only be here for one reason, and that's a brand new episode of the Major Issues Podcast, brought to you each and every week by ComicBookClique.com. But as always, I am not alone. Sir, if you could please introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? It is I, Alex, aka B Roke, but ready to battle it out for the Marvels.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot we're going to be talking about today with the Marvels. So much so that I've called in the cavalry. Other sir, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yo, it's your boy A-Rob, the Marvel God. And I'm here with our boy, the Don, and our boy, Alex, man. I'm here to talk about the Marvels, man. I'm ready for it.
Yes, this is quite ironic. Last week, me and B Roke were talking about the absolute collapse, quote unquote, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just shy of one of the most talked about TV finales and talked about film releases in quite some time between the Loki season 2 and the Marvels. We'll be covering Loki season 2 next week. The Marvels is what's going to be on the plate today. But before we do any of that, A-Rob's on the show, so you know what we gotta do. A-Rob likes to go and scour the headlines for the juiciest, saltiest sometimes pieces of news, speculation, and rumors out there in the multiverse. So without further ado, here is the astonishing, the uncanny, the magnificent, the marvelous A-Rob, the Marvel God, bringing us some news.
always with the dopest introductions. I always appreciate it. But today I'm gonna keep it light since we have to talk about a lot with the Marvels. But on the plate we have Deadpool, we have Loki, and we also have, well, I guess the Marvels and Captain America, Brave New World, which was also known as New World Order. I forget the name change, but
yeah, it must have a lot going on.
There's a lot going on with Captain America 4, man. But first, we're going to get into Deadpool. So far, the only slated movie on Marvel slates for 2024 is Deadpool 3. And if you guys don't know, Deadpool 3 is going to be, it's going to do $2 billion. I'm calling it. It's going to be a multiversal collision of all the Fox universes and Marvel universe. And it's going to be just jam-packed, a culmination of just Deadpool's story of family, love, and self-discovery with all the R-rated goodness that Deadpool brings to the silver screen.
B-Rogue, what do you think about that? One MCU film for the entirety of next year.
I am all for it. Slow the train down, pace it out. And I mean, what better movie to not only increase the hype that the MCU should get back to, but the movie that's going to be used to put everything back into line. Like this movie is gonna both get rid of all the excess because they're gonna do multiversal stuff, and then all of that is going to then put it all back on a track. Much like can't make any Loki references quite yet. Right. If you know what I'm talking about, getting stuff back into alignment. So.
No, 100%. I think, like you guys said, I think it's ironic that it is this film that will be the only film coming out next year. Something else that's pretty interesting is that means that they'll have, for the first time in about a full year, the ability to have both the actors and the writers and everybody on deck, right? With the strike that happened this year, they can have the full promotional train just run off the tracks as soon as next year starts with promoting this film. I think it initially was supposed to come out in May. Rob, am I right to say that it got moved to July?
I believe so.
Yeah, I heard because with the strikes and stuff that a lot of the MCU films had changed release dates. That one included. And so you're talking about a good 7 months to just
Yeah.
pump and promote and have Ryan Reynolds do commercials with Hugh Jackman for 7 months.
Oh
You know,
man.
can you imagine the
Oh man.
Super Bowl commercial for Deadpool 3?
It's gonna be
That's gonna
insane.
that's where you're gonna get all the cameos and this, that, and the third. Stuff almost confirmed by what we saw and what we'll be talking about later. But super duper interesting that they're going that route. And I kind of agree with you. I don't know about 2 billion, but I do think that this film has enough to get them to a number that they'll be happy with. And and I believe when the strike happened, it was a good ways of filming at that point.
Oh
So
yeah.
it did get delayed, but only by a couple of months. Whereas I think Craven, right, is moving all the way to next year.
Yep.
Like no one's asking about it, but it is moved. It has moved
I mean,
to
it
next
What was
is
that? What was that you mentioned?
funny
The
movies.
Craven movie? What?
right. Raven, they're giving Teen Titan a whole movie.
Hold on. Well, speaking of Sony, I forgot there is some news about Madam Web. By the time that this episode will come out, that we will have a Madam Web trailer. Woo!
Interesting. We can finally figure out what any of that is, what it's been, what it is.
We
Maybe
finally
this is
get
the
to
first
see,
time. I'll be
right?
excited with the trailer, but I'm kind of on the fence because last time I saw a Sony trailer, like like a lion bled into a cut and then he got superpowers or something like that. And so I'm very confused as to what this might be. B-Roll, are you excited for the potential Madam Web film?
No.
Resounding no.
I'm sorry. It's Sony's track record speaks for itself. What is there to look forward to? Look what they've done with Morbius. Look what they're doing with Craven. Do I need to say more? Like, what excitement do I have to base any potential excitement off of? The only thing that got me a little excited was when I did see the announcement about a trailer. Is apparently Ezekiel, I think, is being made mention of in this.
Yep.
Right? Ezekiel Sims. That's the guy who wear no shoes, right?
Yes. Yeah. The business suit Spider-Man, But I really liked him as a character in the comics, and I like the idea of using him for that launch pad of into that multiverse. So the character's getting me excited. The project itself still makes me go, why does this exist?
Yeah, I feel that.
Go ahead.
I feel that to a certain degree, like because out of all the Sony characters under Spider-Man's umbrella, Madam Web, and not just like the Madam Web that we remember from the animated like 90s cartoon, like the old version of her, but the current modern version of her, played by Dakota Johnson, not that many people know that character unless you've read Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse or, Spider-Get, just any of the Spider-Verse tie-in comics, which are people don't read or because they're tie-ins.
Right. Yeah. I'm wondering here though, because knowing what I usually know about Madam Web, I'm wondering if, when like a joke comes out and like it's funny and then like your uncle tells it and it's like a little bit less funny and then like your boss tells it and you're like way late to the game. Madam Web's whole thing is like this whole mastery of the multiverse, right? Like that's that's the thing, or at least mastery of like all seeing time. Is it timelines? She has the ability to perceive realities if I'm not mistaken, and if you go into the Spider-Verse of it all, then you're talking about the multiversal spider totems, etc. and so forth. Wondering if people got the stomach for that with everything that's what we've been eating, how we've been eating lately, but it doesn't look like it's stopping. I've seen Invincible and stuff. I mean, if people are not ready for doppelgangers and multiverse and all this stuff, I can't help but think given rumors about what the trailer could entail, that this is another piece in this grand web, you know, to that is supposed to branch not only what the MCU is doing, but kind of Sony tangentially, same way they're doing with Spider-Verse, mentioning Doctor Strange and et cetera and so forth. So we'll see how close it is. Because like I said, Venom popped in, spit out a symbiote, and popped out, and we don't know what the hell is going on there. So I want to see how close they are to tying any of this stuff up, and they must be being quiet about this because this must be some sort of secret connector.
Okay. Oh, I see what. Yeah, I can see that.
You know,
I can see how Madam Web could connect all these Sony movies to a certain degree. Maybe.
and then maybe even some Marvel movies, or just Holland. What if she's like, there's one too far. There's one, that I can't access. I don't know why I can't see him, because I can't remember his name because there was some spell that a wizard did or something like that. But yeah, they can find a way to like patch all that stuff together, I think, and make it really interesting.
All right. And speaking of spells, I did speak about some Loki earlier. No spoilers about the Loki show, but since the show is over, Tom Hiddleston has gone on record and saying, like, he's done playing the characters. It's been a culmination of 14 years playing the character. It's been like the best experience of his life, so on and so forth. But in a recent interview on the Phase Zero podcast, he received letters from Kevin Feige and Luis Esperanto. What's his name?
I forget his name, but I know you're talking about like Vittorio Alonso, like the people that work over there in Marvel Studios.
Yeah. They basically say in the letters that, the door is wide open. And the way Tom Hiddleston was talking on that podcast, he is down to come back to play Loki. And I assume that's going to happen sometime down the line in Secret Wars. Like this can't be the end to this man's story. I mean, it's a great ending, but we still want more Loki,
I feel like no rules apply once we get to Secret Wars. That's why, like, whenever they would like, oh, they're going to try to bring back the old Avengers. I'm like, yeah, I want everyone. I want, like I said again, Nick Cage as Ghost Rider. I want his ass showing up. Give me Ben Affleck as Daredevil. Like, this is the only time you'll ever be able to do this, and it makes sense. And you have the money. Like, if anyone has the money, you have the money. You have the catalog. Not only do you, bring nostalgia, which has been a proven box office thing for certain properties, especially things like Spider-Man, but then you retroactively add value to those things. Now a kid seeing Ben Affleck's Daredevil for the first time, like, what the hell is that? And his father's going, I'll show you, son. Or, and then now they're buying the special edition. They weren't never going to buy it, but they're buying it now because now he's relevant. Now, what is this? Tell me the story of, and same thing with how they're going to like introduce things like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine with Deadpool 3 and that whole universe and stuff. It's all just going to add so much to what we've already seen. So yeah, pull the trigger on all of it. I say, like, okay, Loki's here. Bring another Loki. Tom Hiddleston famously never auditioned to play Loki. He auditioned to play Thor, and they gave him Loki. So if anything, put him in Secret Wars as Thor, as another Thor.
There is a version of it in the comics.
You have our Thor fighting, and then Loki shows up, and he's like, "You need help, brother?" And he's like, "What the hell?"
Right? No, I need that. I need this. Yeah. I need the sun to shine down on the Odinson brothers again. I need that.
Yeah, 100%.
I need that.
I mean, what a reunion that would be, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a dry eye in the audience.
No. And what's crazy is he's the only guy that can have us repeatedly go up and down this roller coaster because Loki's been here, gone, over and over again. He's still putting our heartstrings.
Facts. So as soon as you see Thor, you're gonna hear that classical music, that sad, somber music of the
with the strings, yeah,
with the strings, yeah. He's like, brother, yes, brother, it's me, and I'd love to explain, but not now.
Yeah, I'm a bit tangled, you see.
Right. For Asgard.
Oh, for the multiverse. Oh, we
Yeah,
all,
for the
I don't want to
multiverse.
spoil it.
Here we go.
Oh, we're gonna talk about all that. Anything else on your plate, brother?
Let's see. Did we talk about Captain America 4? I mean, it's really not much to talk about. It's just more reshoots, the movie's getting entirely rewritten and reshot. Apparently, from the test footage that it was shown, it apparently god awful.
Yes, they're supposed to be going over extensive reshoots, months of reshoots. I believe they're going through the reshoots. I don't believe in the test stuff. I'm actually a bit I'm wondering if the introduction of a certain hero named Sabra in this film, given the current events that are going on right now in the world, I don't know if the world is ready for all of that, or if Marvel itself is ready for all of that. Sabra was a very proud Israeli superhero. I believe even had the Star of David on her chest. I saw a panel earlier this week of her saying like the Hulk made her see a Arab child as a human. So like it's a bit touchy. And this character was supposed to be making her debut in Captain America 4, and depending on how much in the film she is.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
I can't prove that any of this is that, but I think some of this is that.
I mean, when you say it like that,
I just think, and you could Google it. People at home, Sabra, I believe is the name of the character. And there are articles written up. People are making up their own minds about how much she'll be in this film now moving forward, or, you know, whether or not she even had a big part at all. And maybe this is all just really, maybe they didn't like what they saw and they're changing it all up. But we were told things about adamantium. We were told things about the leader. There was a whole bunch of exciting speculation going on with this film. They're going to want it to do well because all the other that Captain America trilogy only went up. So, you know, if you're going to do number 4, you got some humongous shoes to fill. Probably bigger than majority of sequels, save Black Panther. You know, it's a really, really big shoes to fill with Captain America 4. So take your time, whatever you have to do there.
Please take your time, because I'm sure they're going to have to introduce the X-Men. They're going to have to rectify what happened with the Eternals, the Celestial and the Indian Ocean. Shit's
I got things to
do.
There's a what? Where?
It was so long ago.
Huh?
It was so long ago. Oh, there was like a rumor that they're working on Eternals too. Did they wake somebody up? Did somebody wake up and go, "Oh my god, my alarm! I was supposed to be working on Eternals 2 5 months ago." Whatever. So I guess Eternals 2 is coming.
Dude woke up like, "Oh, COVID, right? COVID, right?" Like, nah, man, we passed COVID, bro.
Like a fish in a fishbowl. A big ass celestial just poked his head through the atmosphere and said, "I'm here to judge all of y'all."
We haven't heard nothing. Nothing has talked about it at all.
Nothing. No one said.
I'll tell you this right now.
Since.
That Celestial's got low self-esteem right now, bro. Like,
yeah, he is, right? I did all that.
Can somebody pay me attention, please?
Maybe they're setting a precedence. Maybe I figured it out. Maybe that's the precedence they're setting. They're doing so much crazy stuff and having no one talk about it, so that when they just introduce the mutants in the laziest way possible, we're like, how the hell were there mutants on this planet this whole time? And we ain't know. They're like, there was a celestial in the ground and ain't nobody talking about it. Somebody showed up over here, ain't nobody talking about it. There's people living in the ocean. People living in the ocean, ain't nobody talking about it. Maybe they send they send the ground for it, bro. That's it.
Oh my god.
Don't talk no more. Love is about
there's a whole nother dimension of kung fu fighting people with a water dragon. Why no one's talking about it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Dweller in the darkness, bro.
Wait. Hold on. Are there any memes about this stuff? Then I'm clueless.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I can get educated. I'm supposed to figure this stuff out. Gang.
But that's all. I think that's all I have on the news side of things. I mean, well, we could talk about. I guess with a little bit about Captain Marvel, or I guess the Marvels.
Mm-hmm.
Its box box.
Well, we can get into we'll get into that when we get into all of it. We're gonna
Okay.
get into the let's get into the whole sandwich that is the Marvels.
Okay.
So
I bet.
so we gave enough content for everyone who hates Brie Larson to listen to at least the beginning of this episode, and now we can get into all of it. So thank you, A. Rob, the Marvel God, for bringing us the news. So, The Marvels is a 2023 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics, produced by Marvel Studios, and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It's the sequel to the film Captain Marvel, a continuation of the miniseries Miss Marvel, and the 33rd film in the MCU. The film was directed by Nia DaCosta, who co-wrote the screenplay with Megan McDonnell and Alyssa Karasik, featuring the characters Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan. It stars Brie Larson as Danvers, Tiana Paris as Rambeau, and Iman Vellani as Khan, alongside Zawe Ashton and Samuel L. Jackson. In the film, Danvers and Rambeau and Khan team up after they begin swapping places with each other every time they use their powers. At 1 hour and 45 minutes, it is the shortest MCU film, surpassing The Incredible Hulk and Thor. Both of those were exactly 1 hour and 52 minutes each. The film experienced the worst weekend for an MCU film, grossing $41.1 million domestically. I think it's now at 109 worldwide on a budget of $250 million. Without spoilers, what did you think? B-Roke, you have seen the film twice in theaters. What did you think? Without spoilers.
I enjoyed it. It's a silly, fun movie. You're going to see this because of what the title of the movie is, The Marvels. You're going to see it for Monica Rambeau. You're going to see it for Carol Danvers, and you're especially going to go see it for Kamala Khan. Those three characters for me shine. So if you're going there for those three, seeing how they get to know one another and see how they grow as characters, then you're going to enjoy yourself. Then the movie did its purpose. So having watched it twice, both times I was like, okay, this was fine. It's not going to change your world. It's not going to knock your socks off, but it's not this atrocious mess that some people would have you think it is.
Interesting. A-Rob?
I agree. Like, it was fun. It was exhilarating. It was almost like the classic Marvel formula of slapping, having characters from different franchises and, getting them all together in like I don't want to say a mini Avengers like adventure, but that's what it kind of felt like to me, having all these different characters from the different shows and movies and whatnot. And like what B-Roke said, like it was really entertaining watching them on screen get to know one another and how to interact with one another once they started swapping powers. And shouts out to the choreography team getting that together, because that looked really complex and it looked really dope on screen happening, especially with all the fight sequences. And it's not like Winter Soldier, Guardians, Endgame, Infinity War level, but it is still a highly enjoyable movie. You can sit down and watch it anytime and enjoy it. It had high stakes. It didn't have no slow, low moments, and it was a highly enjoyable movie for real.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I really like this movie. Fun is the word I hear everybody saying, and it's hard to think of another word. Like, that's literally the first word that comes to my mind. And sometimes I can say I get overly critical of any of the medium I watch, read, listen to on occasion. And I was just thoroughly entertained by all of this. Now, because I keep my ear to the ground with this stuff, I had my expectations quite low, with everyone, like we used the metaphor last week, already putting their marshmallows on the stick above the fire that is the MCU's, flaming corpse. I didn't really expect much. And I did also see the Loki season finale prior to that without spoiling anything. I think most people have already heard it's pretty good. So I was in high hopes and low expectations. All it had to do was clear the middle. I knew that they're capable of amazing, and I know what the bottom is for me. We've sat here and spoken on about superhero fatigue and certain things that just don't work for me. I just needed it to have heart, have humor, and a bit of spectacle, and it managed to do all of that. There are not. I don't think there's moments on this that's going to go into top 10 MCU moments of all time, but there's moments in this that made me laugh legitimately out loud. And when you've seen as many of these films, when you've been through this as much as you have, sometimes it doesn't happen, but there's a bunch in this that legitimately had me cracking up. And so I made the mistake of saying that, the movie was enjoyable, even though it wasn't groundbreaking. And people are flipping out online. We posted on behalf of ComicBookClique, and there's a bunch of comments there. And then I was like, oh, we haven't got any of the like typical woke this, woke that, go woke, go broke stuff. I forgot I filtered for comments. I put a moderation for comments to have that word in it. So you guys who are admins alongside me, you can go, and when you hit all comments, you can go to comments hidden by this page automatically. You'll see all the go woke, go broke.
Oh, wow.
This is a woke this is a woke that nonsense. Obviously don't engage with them. No one else can see them. They are in the void. We've shot them through a jump point. But
right. They're food for Goliath.
Yes, 100%.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, they're getting cleaned up. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have fun saying this is fun. I don't care how much money it makes. Now, obviously, that's going to affect the studio, and maybe they should think about how they strategically put these films out, promote them, and stuff like that. But I don't think that's on any of the cast in this. I don't think that's on Nia DaCosta, who I think does a great job. There are moments in this that make me like Carol more in this film than as 1/3 of this film than an entire film that she had, which just shows you going the difference in directing styles. There's expressions and things she did in this that made her feel more human and more enjoyable and more well-rounded as an actress and as a character. So it's like, if and it also moved the overall MCU plot, which is something we've been begging anything to do for the longest time. Like, kind of acknowledge the information we know and move us over a little bit, get us closer to whatever is going to happen. And we have one of the biggest clues ever about what might be happening or going to happen very soon in the MCU with the post-credit of this film. So I recommend it. If you're really like on the fence about it and you really truly want to wait, you could wait. But again, it goes past in a breeze. There's never, because it goes past in a breeze, the pacing I think is pretty amazing. There's a lot to be said. I think one of the biggest criticisms I'm seeing online is that the villain is kind of one note. But in my opinion, the villain is only here as like a symbolic, like, plot point, like to get from one place to another. In many ways, like a lot of the phase 1, kind of phase 2 villains were to kind of just to set up those characters for what they were going to be able to do later on.
Yep.
Yeah, like
you hit the nail right on the head.
That's I didn't leave going, oh my god, they needed to fight, Annihilus or anything like that. This was fine for this story. I learned something more from all 3 of these leads from fighting this character. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend it before we get into our spoiler filled recap and review. What do you guys say? Would you recommend this film?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, even if before it comes out on Disney Plus, I highly recommend people to see this film. It's fun, it's exciting, and I want to say it's kind of something new. We don't really see like the body swapping thing in movies,
Yeah.
So I kind of appreciated seeing that. And plus on the heels of this, one of the greatest endings of a show. Like, it's culminating for a good, like, almost, I want to say, a good weekend for Marvel. So, go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend going to watch it. I mean, anytime you get to watch a movie of this spectacle, you got to go watch it in theaters. I don't care
Oh,
how good your house setup is. I'm tired of people telling me, "Oh, I got an 80-inch TV and I got 7.1 surround sound." Okay, that's not an IMAX or Dolby Cinema theater. I don't care. Go see this in the movie theater.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like there are some beautiful shots in this film. There's some very beautiful shots set up. The cinematography in this film, it can be quite beautiful and awe-inspiring, especially in the beginning sequences in space, in the dark. Really, really, really some inventive stuff. Okay, let's get fully into this film. And as you know, I'll be doing the recap. We'll be stopping at various points, just discussing what's going on. And if anything comes to you guys' mind, shout it out.
Yep.
So, our film starts off with our antagonist, Kree Supremer, and accuser, Darben, finding what we now know is a quantum band. But it resembles the bangle worn by Kamala in Miss Marvel. Now, obviously, we're jumping ahead a bit, but quantum bands, guys, we got quantum bands now.
Right, we finally got a name for them.
That's also pretty big. That's Quasar, or at least to my knowledge, Quasar was one of the holders of the quantum bands. Is Blue Marvel as well? Does he have a history with the quantum bands? I can't remember. Wendell.
Oh, Wendell Vaughn.
Yeah, Wendell Vaughn.
Well, Wendell Vaughn was a Quasar. Quasar, he's got a history. Quasar. Yeah, that's Quasar. He's got the Blue Marvel. I can't remember his real name. I'm not sure if he has a history with the quantum bands.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But definitely Wendell Vaughn, as well as, if you want to take it back to, I believe it was Marvel Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
History. Yes.
Wait, so we could get a Marvel Boy and have the Marvel, like more of the Marvels? Like,
yeah, we can.
And another Young Avenger, too.
Yeah, get him the Marvel.
And who knows? Maybe we'll actually get the actual Marvel, because he was also tied to the quantum bands as well.
That's very true. Yeah.
So Darben makes it a note to say that the bands were forged as a pair, but the other is missing, and she declares it her mission to find them both. This is interesting because when we saw the bangle in Miss Marvel, it seemingly was on a Kree or around the Kree, where there was a blue skinned body near when they found it. So this kind of just connects those dots. Again, dots that we've been waiting to be connected for about 2 years now. So, I'm happy that we got there. When we then head to Jersey City, where our Kamala Khan is creating Avengers fan fiction, where she teams up with her favorite superhero ever, Captain Marvel, to take down a giant robot together. Her bangle suddenly lights up and she is teleported away, just like the ending of her TV show. Guys, this is the introduction of Iman Vellani to the worldwide screens of the theaters in the MCU. What do you think?
I thought she nailed it.
Yeah, man. Like, she was really fun to watch on screen. And every scene that she was in, you can tell she was you could tell there was a Marvel fan on screen doing this. Like,
yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, and not just that, but she captures that wholeness of what it. I mean, think about this. How many of us have had those dreams of a fictional character that you like, and imagining what it would be like to tag team with them?
Yeah.
In her world, it's the same as wishing to play a one-on-one basketball against Michael Jordan or LeBron James, or play on your favorite sports team. She can actually imagine what it would be like to team up with her favorite superhero, which is sick. And seeing how she sits there and draws, and I like the fact that she's not perfect. If you remember when she's drawing, she's sitting there talking about, I can never draw hands properly. I can,
right?
Yeah. So it shows that she's not this perfect character, and she's just totally into her favorite superhero. And it's just that's how she's sitting there jamming out to some cool tunes and just drawing, and you can see her room is just total fangirling out for her character, and she's thrusted then into this adventure.
Yeah, I think her attitude is really contagious, and it's almost to me, it's almost charming because it reminds me of the early energy we had as MCU fans about this
Fact.
stuff.
Yes.
You
That's
know,
what I was really like vibing with that with Amon's character because of that. Even
there's
behind scenes, I'm
literally
sure he was like that.
one of the best parts of this film to me is the ending of this film, which contextually makes absolutely no sense because no one would have knowledge of that meeting to parody it. But it doesn't matter because she's an MCU fan, so we kind of let it slide. But we'll get there. But yeah, it's the most meta thing ever because it's a actress who's a fan of the franchise she's in, playing a character who's a fan of the people that she's fighting crime with. So it's working in a double-edged sword because she's there in the room, and then Captain Marvel does walk into the room, and then Nick Fury walks into the room. You know, like then all the energy that she has for that, it's like, oh yeah, I remember kind of a bit of that. I'm willing to sit and soak with that. You know, the same way you can kind of feel that energy when a child sees Santa, right? Just the magic that they see
Yeah.
from it. Whether or not you believe in that magic, you can see that magic. And with Kamala on screen, she reminds you why we all are still on this ride 33 films later. You know, we've been here for quite some time. But we then head over to the emptiness of space where Carol Danvers uses scroll tech to try to regain memories lost. She uses like a scroll Bluetooth thing to log into Disney Plus and watch Captain Marvel to remind everybody what happened because it was 4 years ago. And we basically see the events of Captain Marvel play out, but we also see new memories we've never seen before, where like Carol like destroys like a huge building. The intensity of this memory jolts her awake, and she receives a communication from Nick Fury, who asks if she can investigate a surge in the jump point system because she's nearby. Nick also lets her know that Monica Rambeau, the daughter of her deceased friend Maria Rambeau, is working to collect more information. Carol seems apprehensive, but agrees to still help. I thought this was a cool reintroduction to the character. It wasn't a flashy, cool introduction. Like the last time we saw her, she was like going one-on-one with Thanos. Pretty badass moment. And she was given a bunch of badass moments in Infinity War and also in her own film. But this is kind of the beginnings of us seeing a vulnerable Carol that we will end up getting more into. And this was shot deliberately dark and empty. She'll go on later on to say that she's glad to have people on the ship because she's not used to, hanging with people. But I think this beginning is shot very, very cold and very kind of lonely almost on purpose. But what do you guys think of this reintroduction of Carol?
I was feeling it. I was honestly feeling it. It fills in those gaps. It lets you remind you of those little of the details of the first Captain Marvel movie, while also because it also lets you know where in time we're at. Because that's something I was wondering about with this movie was where is this going to be taking place? Where does this take place after Secret Invasion? Does this take place during the blip? Or what point maybe after the blip does this happen? So it does a very good job of immediately letting you know, okay, this is after the blip. It's sometime after the blip, so much so that I'm pretty sure, even though I don't think anyone has gone officially saying that this takes place after Secret Invasion, because I don't know how close to Secret Invasion. I know this is confirmed to be the year 2025.
Because the events of Miss Marvel take place in the year of 2025, but I don't know how close to Secret Invasion, and I think that's on purpose. I think on purpose we're not supposed to know which one came first, so that we can't have too many questions about what should be going on and what shouldn't be going on.
Right, and not just that, but the Nick Fury in this movie feels very different than the Nick Fury in the Secret Invasion show.
Oh yeah. Night and day.
So those two were very different, but I could see how the events of this movie lead into Secret Invasion.
Same, as opposed to the other way around.
Right, because if it's the other way around, it's like, yo, Nick, are you drinking?
Yeah.
You taking some medicine? Like, what's up with you?
And not for nothing, and we'll get there, but like, there's almost a way that the events of this could have directly influenced Secret Invasion. Like, this is making that a bit better, but it literally could have, like, there's a legit refugee sect that already has a militant leader that could have, once they got to Earth, been like, you know what? Nah. Matter of fact, we're taking all this, and we can, and watch us, instead of having to make somebody up and then make up, a backstory in the 90s. It felt like they were like reverse engineering something when they could have done it forward
This way. Right.
Yeah. What'd you think of Carol's reintroduction here, Rob?
I like the flashbacks. It did help with the pacing of the movie to let us know, like what Carol was, what has she's been doing for the past 30 years, or the first thing that she did, like she said she was going to do back in the 90s, was pull up on the gang, pull up on the ops, and just raise everything. And once again, shout out to the comic accuracy, because I was really curious about what the Supreme Intelligence was going to really look like since Captain Marvel, and they showed it. I'm like, oh, it's the actual Supreme Intelligence, and she just killed like millions of like intelligent Kree and like soul minds in that collection of like intelligence. I don't think she knew, but
it was really a sledgehammer moment. It was really like killing ants with a sledgehammer situation. We'll talk about why you don't do that later on and what that could lead to. But yeah, and okay, she looks good in a tank top. I'll say, that's a compliment, Bree. That's a compliment. There's no objectification going on here. Carol Danvers looks good in a tank top. She looks good in a tank top. Oh, I like a little braid thing too. A little personality there. Oh, and I like that she hangs her little, like, a costume off of her. Like, it's always on her, costume. Just hangs it off of her, and then when she wants to, she just straps up, zip, and she's good to go. So yeah, she's gonna go check this whole thing out. Speaking of Monica, we see her assisting Saber on their space station with the power she developed in WandaVision when she walked through the hex. Monica investigates the damaged jump point in her location while Carol does the same in hers. And even though the two seem too nervous to talk to one another, they both attempt to touch the same bits of energy glowing from the jump point. And as soon as they do, Carol finds herself where Kamala was, aka her house, which is basically a Captain Marvel museum. Kamala ends up where Monica was, near the space station in a suit, trying to talk to Nick Fury. And Monica ends up, I think, on Planet. She ends up where Carol does. Or Carol was. Yeah, fun hijinks has ensued. I liked Kamala's introduction to Nick Fury, and then when she realized who it was and all that. And I liked, like, could you imagine being Carol Danvers in that moment? Like, you're already like, what the hell just happened? And then everywhere you look, there's drawings and pictures of you and magazine cutouts and fan fiction written about you. It sets their dynamic up perfectly, in a worser film, she would have walked in on this and been like, whoa, kid, like embarrassed Kamala, like she would have been like, oh, this is a little bit too much, but she gets to like see this and take it in on her own. And then kind of make her mind about all that. But yeah, I love that later Fury's like, don't touch weird shit. Like, what do you like? Make that a rule. We're not gonna touch anything weird. Because I was like, what are you guys doing? Everyone just seems drawn to touch it. It's like what are those bug zappers?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Just how quickly everybody was just like, yeah, let me just put my hands with it. Like, you guys are like almost.
Yeah, you're like scientists.
Like scientists, and it's just like, let me just touch this. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Don't do that at all. But yeah, it was cute seeing how quickly Kamala goes from just floating through space, screaming her lungs out, to then, oh, it's Nick Fury. Oh, I'm Kamala. Oh no, I'm Miss Marvel. Oh no, I don't have my mask on. Totally just, But meanwhile, on the other side, you got Carol, like you said, waking up in this room that's just like, what is this? Is this some am I in hell? Possibly, like,
Right.
I mean, because for all that initial thought is I'm dead and this is my purgatory, and then eventually it's like, no, I'm still alive and I'm in someone's house. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is happening? And then you got Monica who's suddenly on this planet, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm fighting a bunch of Kree soldiers.
Yeah.
Sure, here we go. And as much as people want to talk about Brie Larson in the tank top, don't forget about Miss
Oh,
Paris.
Tiana Paris
Miss
in
Paris
anything.
in the suit wasn't bad either.
No, no, no. I really like her. Um, yeah, so this is the beginning of our entanglement. Carol awkwardly tries to leave the Khan household, but when she goes to fly, she teleports again and is confronted by Darben's soldiers, who she thinks is behind all this. So she hands them real quickly and she takes off. Monica explains for her POV to Fury, while Kamala tries to explain where she was to her parents. Her family makes me laugh. I don't know if I'm just if
No, you're not
it's just,
alone. Like everyone
I was
enjoys
cracking up, man.
their family. Like their family is some of the honestly, their family moments are some of the highlights of the film because it seems so genuine and just authentic.
Right. They're not like,
Crazy to
I
say
love
no
that
word.
that none of them are really in awe. None of them are fangirling the way Kamala is. They must know of these people the same way, right? Like you would know of the
Yeah.
Avengers tangentially, even if you're not a fan. It's not like comics. These people are like worldwide celebrities. Like they literally saved the world.
My
They're
mom is
not like how people would know actors and stuff. So I find it funny. Like at one point while she's trying to explain this, Kamala is she the father says, "Is Captain Marvel pressuring you?" Like it's like just like is that weird adult that you hang out with? Like, should we talk about that? Like, do you want to talk about that? But she is simultaneously, it looks like she's heartbroken when she realizes that Carol Danvers was just in her home. But in realizing that this might lead to a potential team up, she immediately becomes super, super stoked. That Captain Marvel was at her crib. Like that's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening.
Literally, she made, like she was just writing about this earlier in this episode. She was just writing about this team up. So, making a huge, huge deal for her. Speaking of which, Carol heads to Tarmax, where some Skrull refugees have made their home. We see the Skrull and the Kree, who have fought for eons in the midst of peace negotiations. Darben is speaking on behalf of her people, and she graciously welcomes the Skrull into the Kree Empire, saying that she will work on relocating all of them because she's going to rob them of their atmosphere. So I've never been to a lot of peace negotiations, but that being like the first set of lines from the other side doesn't seem very peaceful. But the Kree have a chip on their shoulder. It's kind of crazy that like this war has been going on for as long as it has between these two, because we've not seen any interjection by us, who had a big role initially in the phase like Captain Marvel, with Nick Fury and Project Pegasus and all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, Darben is hell bent on taking back resources for Hala. Hala.
Holla.
Hala. So yeah, that's motivation number one. So Carol investigates a Kree ship, but when she goes to use her powers, the three leads begin switching places, dealing with the Kree on their ship. Then some of those Kree end up at Kamala's home. But this ends up being a very inventive fight sequence where the three of them are using their powers out of sync. What do you guys think of this fight sequence that takes place between the Kree ship, Kamala's home, and then occasionally someone ends up with Nick Fury and has to explain what the hell is going on? A-Rob, I'll ask you first.
Man, the fight was messy. It was fun. It was dynamic, and and honestly, and Goose was my favorite thing of the whole fight. Honestly, to get the Flurkin action going.
Yeah. Kamala gets a lot of first run reaction seeing a Flurkin and all this other kind of stuff, seeing space, a Flurkin, Nick Fury, Captain Marvel, a whole nother alien species. B-Roke, what do you think about this whole thing? And it's all set to like some very fun Missy Elliott music. So what do you think about this fight sequence taking place mostly in the home?
I thought it was very well done, considering how much is going on, the constant going back and forth to not just different characters, but different locations. And you're constantly having to follow this thread. And even then you're getting story points put into the fight where they call Carol Annihilator, and you're like, whoa, Annihilator, what's that about? Oh, I don't like that name. Okay, what's going on with that? And just seeing how they are able to quickly adapt, which some would say, oh man, that's bogus. No, that's a testament to their fighting prowess. Captain Marvel, this is someone who she's been fighting through space for probably 2 decades. Monica Rambeau, this is a military trained woman. And Kamala, who's been fighting in Jersey for like the last couple months, that's got to be worth like 10 years worth of fight experience.
That's boot camp. That's boot camp right away. That's the fast to boot camp. But even I think what also Kamala brings is like the imaginary part or the imagination part of combat, right? Like thinking of things people probably wouldn't think of, because you're not expecting a big fist to come hit you in the face or someone to lily pad off of lights and kick you in the skull. So I like that they all have a bit of their own flavor in this. And I even like that Monica is like phasing through people to get to other people. She has this confidence about her.
I appreciated her like coming into her own with her powers, figuring out like, yeah, you can manipulate light, but you also manipulate yourself within the light spectrum. Like you can do a lot. You're pretty OP, Monica, and I appreciated that throughout the whole entire film with her, for real.
Yeah. So Nick and Monica, after the whole fight sequence ends, Nick Fury and Monica stop by Kamala's to attempt to explain things. They tell Kamala that they've been keeping intel on her since she saved Jersey City from the clandestine. Kamala seems stoked to even be on their radar. And when Monica tries to explain that they all have light-based powers, Kamala tries to demonstrate this, which causes her to switch places with Carol. Seeing her Aunt Carol for the first time in 30 years, Monica is understandably standoffish, even though Carol seems to be legitimately trying. This is the whole like, Aunt Carol. Oh, hey, Lieutenant Trouble. It's Captain Rambeau. I was like, oh, okay. Got a little cold in here. Yeah, I was like, it's getting a little nippy. But they Monica's coming up with this whole like hypothesis of what could be going on. So she mentions that she has powers. Then Carol asks her how she got powers, and I love this moment. She goes like, I walked through a hex, and now I got whatever I got. Like I walked through a hex with radiation, and now I have the ability to manipulate the electromagnetic field. And Kamala's mom goes, I am so happy for you. Where is our daughter? I cracked up because at first I thought that I was so happy for you was just like she's just being a kind old person who doesn't really understand what she just heard, but it's no, it's like, yeah, get past whatever you two are talking about. Where's Kamala? Because she just disappeared. So she's like, where is my daughter? Thought that was really, really funny. Monica surmises that their light-based powers are linked through quantum entanglement, and they switch places when any of the three of them use their powers simultaneously. Carol tries to force the switch. She gets frustrated. She can't force it, so she goes and she flies off. But when she flies away, she switches places with Kamala in midair, and Monica, learning how to fly for the first time, saves her, but she can't land safely. So Kamala uses her powers to protect them both, which causes them to switch with Carol, and they end up appearing on Dar-Ben's ship in Tarmac. Dar-Ben's men recognize Kamala and Monica as associates of Captain Marvel, whom Ben calls the Annihilator. So Dar decides it's time to use the quantum ban now. Using her universal weapon, and quantum band in unison, she opens a jump point that pulls the atmosphere away from Tarmax and towards Hala, the home planet of the Kree. Things get tense as Danvers barks orders at Kamala, who is overwhelmed with the destruction. With no way of saving the planet, Carol does her best to evacuate the remaining Skrulls. And this is kind of like a tearful moment. This is a weird, like, never meet your heroes moment with Kamala.
Definitely.
And Captain Marvel, who manages to show up like really, really quickly compared to because I think she was on Earth and then she had to fly all the way to wherever the hell they were. But I can't even pretend to recognize space time or any of that kind of stuff. So, and she's a captain. If anyone knows how to get off on the exit, it's her. But I really, really dug that moment there because there's a severity to this superhero stuff, man. Like Kamala's tasted it. I'm not saying she ain't never been in no real danger, but we were about to see like a planet wide. You're taking the atmosphere from the whole planet. It's not like from a town,
Right.
It was some real dire stakes. And sometimes in the heat of those tensions, you have to be very direct and you don't have time to sort of sugarcoat or, preface and, give long explanations and stuff. What do you guys think about this moment of Carol kind of getting curt with Kamala and Kamala, kind of being adamant about trying to save as many people as possible in this whole, like, never meet your heroes sort of scenario? I'll go with you, B-Roke, first.
No, it was a moment that I really wish they would have had the nerve to take down a little bit of a darker path for a little bit longer than they did, because it was such a good moment, because it's an opportunity to show that, wow, heroes have to make those tough decisions, because this is a situation where, no, most likely had they tried to save everybody, it probably would have cost everyone their lives. So you have to make that call of, okay, we've got this many people, it's time to go. That's it. This is now we're basically at the edge of death here. So we can't risk everybody for this. We can't risk the people we've already saved for the chance to save everybody. We just can't. Yeah. We have to move on. And in the later scenes when they do readdress it, they just kind of smooth it over. I would have really liked in this moment it would have given Kamala that chance to start to really see her heroine in a different light. Like, oh man, like she's kind of got this dark side. People are calling her the Annihilator.
Yeah.
Do I want
how
to
well do
follow
I
this
already
person?
know her? Yeah, how well do I already know her? Even
So I wish they would have gone down that pipe a little bit longer, but I can see for runtime they really wanted to keep it short. But on the other side, with the villain part, this was the villain being able to show, hey, I have the ability to cause this massive effect, but I really wish they would, the classic trope with the MCU movies is the weak villain. Yeah. She still comes across very stale, very bargain basement. She is bargain basement Ronin.
I can see that.
Yeah, Darvin was definitely like the deepest of cuts of comic book characters on the space side of things.
Yeah, I also want to say that the story, as the story goes, and we'll get into it later on. Like literally right after she fought Yanrog, Carol went, like she said she would, to destroy the Supreme Intelligence, quote unquote, freeing all the Kree. That causes a Kree civil war. And because they don't have a supreme intelligence, like one leader ruling them all, so it causes a civil war. In fighting that war for years, the planet gets ravaged of its resources. The water is poisonous, the air is unbreathable, and the sun has like kind of burnt out in a way. So that's what we're saying. Like, she's trying to bring all those elements over using the quantum bands. What I like is that I like when it's revealed later on that this all would have worked better if she had both bands, but she has like one band and like NOS, and she just keeps like she just keeps hitting the thing. Like she's jerry rigged this jump point system. That's why it's not working right. If you have both quantum bands, you can open and close them willy nilly. That's the whole point. If you have both of them, it's created the whole network. But because she only has one, she's just been hitting it with the hammer and jacking things up. I find that really, really funny. Just because how crazy she's been driven. But if we think about this again, 30 years of civil war, roughly, all the resources, kind of lets you know why Ronan's a little bit crazy in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you add all that stuff up, it puts you in a better mind as why he's literally like putting war, like he's a heretic. He's gone crazy. She says like we were once ruled by heretics after the Civil War or whatever, and he's and there's like a whole ceremonial makeup routine.
Oh yeah, he bathes in their blood, man.
Like, is that what it was? The blood? Oh, because of the hammer. Yeah, he puts the and it goes into
when he first wakes up in the chamber, he comes out like bathed in blood, and then when he smashes that Nova Corpsman's head and it drains back into the system.
Yeah. So that's what they were dealing with. That's what they were dealing with before Darben won the office.
The only thing about it, I wish I know time crunch and sometimes explaining things makes it matter less. It just doesn't hit you the same. But I wish they would have thrown at least a line saying, "Oh, this was the previous accuser's hammer," because I don't know. Some people I found were confused. Well, like, are all the hammers that powerful? It's like, no, that was Ronan's hammer because it had the same purple glow from when he put the Infinity Stone on it. Which
did that hammer not break?
I'm pretty sure it didn't break.
No, it got destroyed at the end of Guardians. And so I'm assuming there's a bunch of hammers because, like, Hala does have a bunch of accusers. There's not just one accuser, not just one hammer. They all have their own different hammers, and they all name universal weapons. So it's just another hammer.
I was just thinking it was his hammer because of the purple glow that it had gotten from him putting the Infinity Gem on it. Yeah. But yeah, now that you reminded me, I believe it was destroyed at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. I believe it was. So, but I know some people were even trying to say, oh, well, why does it have to have a purple glow? Because she's a girl. It's like, man, it had a purple glow when Ronan the Accuser was using it in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like,
gosh. That's not even phase one.
There's a purple glow in everything. Like what?
Yeah. There is a purple glow in everything. Oh no! Look, the sky's opening up. It's all purple. It's some sort of the wokeness is breaking through.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, and I really like that. Kamala will go back eventually to being just as delighted to be a part of the team, and as for much hero worship for Carol. But I like that this kind of adjusted her so that there's never a moment in this where she's fangirling while something catastrophic is happening. She now knows when to turn it on, visually, and when to kind of buckle down, because later on she's gonna have to buckle down, and she's not there marking out over and wow and look how cool she pedal to the metal. But then when she's off work, she's fangirling it, so time and place. We're all learning important lessons in this. It's all about time and place. Boom. Yeah, quantum bends. Okay. Carol does her best to evacuate the remaining scrolls, and somebody shows up saying, hey, we got some room. We spoke about this right here on this podcast. The Asgardians show up. Valkyrie, the president of the Asgardians, king of the Asgardians.
King or queen of
the Asgardians. She shows up, and she's all like, they can come with me, which is hella confusing given the events of Secret Invasion, where the president has just declared war on everyone, not only Skrulls, any intergalactic being, force, etc., so forth. So that's going on, because we were all like, why everyone got beef with Skrulls being on the planet when we know Asgardians are on the planet? Like, they've claimed land and said this is new Asgard, and this is our new official.
Happened before Secret Invasion. Then
that's what I'm saying. That's what makes me feel like it must have happened before Secret Invasion.
But that's why I say it would have been cooler than if that this president in this film of this Skrulls was the leader of the thing and not Gravik. You know what I'm saying? And imagine that. Now it even makes more sense the more I talk about it. And then he's like, I want the powers of Captain Marvel. We need to find the harvest. We need to get the powers of Captain Marvel because she just cost me my planet. That's another thing that I like is it when Dar-Ben opens up the atmosphere and starts taking it away from that planet, she says like, oh, we were trying to do a peace deal and you brought the Annihilator. So it's over now. And I was like,
the instant turncoat.
Yeah, she thought Carol was there on behalf of the Skrulls. And was like, nah, not again. And she was ready to send them away. But yeah, another thing, I didn't get any of this. People have been saying that they saw possible googly eyes with Carol and Valkyrie. Did anyone catch any of that? Biroki saw it twice. Was there any chemistry between Carol and Valkyrie?
I think Valkyrie was like, Valkyrie be flirting. Valkyrie be out here. She be out here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Tessa Thompson, so
yeah. If she gives you those looks, you ain't gonna not give her the look back.
Facts.
But yeah, she takes the people, the Skrulls with her. Danvers wrestles with the idea that this is all her fault. Back on Hela, Dar-Ben celebrates bringing her people clean air for the first time in decades and promises to restore the planet's sun. We get a 30-year-old flashback of soldier Dar-Ben watching Carol Danvers arrive on Hela shortly after defeating Young-Rock during the events of Captain Marvel in an attempt to free the Kree as she was free. Carol destroys the Supreme Intelligence, ultimately dooming them by thrusting the Kree into a civil war which ravaged both the people and the planet, earning her the nickname of the Annihilator. She promises that Dar-Ben promises that the sun will rise again on Hela and seems overcome with emotion for her people. That actually, I thought they did that like well. Like she did bring them air.
Yeah.
Like no one else could do that. Like she legit brought her people air. Like she's like, you can breathe now. And they were like, oh shit. And she was like, I'm gonna do this all day. We're gonna get water. We about to get all of this. Don't even worry about it. So I dug that. Back on Carol's ship, Danvers and Monica share small talk about Monica's powers, and Rambo abruptly reminds Carol that she said she would come back, and she never did. Carol tries to apologize, but Monica walks away. Kamala comes out and seems frozen, afraid to anger her idol. Carol, sensing her hesitance, apologizes for how she spoke to her. She confesses that it's nice to have people on board her ship, and Kamala straight up just pleads her allegiance to her. She was like, I'll do anything for you. I will leave high school. Let me know how it was. What do you guys think of this reconciliation? Obviously, Biroki was talking about it being a bit quick, but what do you think?
Yeah, I just wish there had been more hesitation, more like, hey, do I want to follow this person, or at least address the fact that, hey, man, you just left, probably a couple hundred Skrulls to die. Give me something. Give me, I like
that she wasn't immediately apologetic. I like that Kamala wasn't immediately like, oh, I'm so sorry for what she's kind of like, you was weird. You was I don't know about you. Like she really gave her like a kind of like a standoffish. Like she didn't know how to react. She didn't know how to, and it's got to be a lot. We build up these people in our brains, and then they have a hell of shoes to fill because they're filling the perfect shoes. She's supposed to be the perfect hero, Carol, and she can't seem to get anything right in this film. So I thought her even caring about how she spoke to Kamala made me like Carol Danvers more, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that she didn't just shrug it off. She's like, get over it, kid. Things like this happen. The fact that she was like, like, I get it. I saw the house. I saw the pictures and stuff. Like, I get it. And also there's a thing about there's a thing with not seeing yourself for your best, but others seeing you as your best, right? Like Carol thinks she's falling short of everything, and Kamala sees her as a god, And I've been there with like my nieces and nephews. I'll be having a rough ass time and I walk in and I'm the uncle. Woo, party time. You know, this is great. This guy is great. You know, but I go to work and it's like, hey, get over here, get over there. You're late. You know, taking too long. You know, so I really like that balance. Carol does need a battery in her back. She does need to be reminded sometimes that this job is hard and she is doing her best. And I think that Kamala and even Monica at some points in this film allow her to have that sort of interaction. What do you think, A-Rob?
The whole time I was thinking about that, I wish there was just a little bit more to add some more like emotional weight to those moments. But it was just like the perfect amount, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And also the Annihilator. I wish she leaned more into that later on because every time they called her an Annihilator, I'm like, is she going to set up the Annihilators? Is she going to set up the strongest like cosmic team in Marvel? Like, is this going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, is this going to happen? Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's. I agree with both of you guys about how short it is. It's just enough to get the point across, but they could have used more to drive the point home. But the point got across. We understand what they were trying to say. They could have done more to really, really stamp it hard. But Carol's already a better mentor than Tony at this point. She's not leaving her a nuke and walking away and saying, hey, you know, don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. So Carol shakes Kamala. Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say I really wish they would have used this moment also with going back to Darban, because I did feel for her when she was sitting there bringing Hala an atmosphere back. You know, I'm sitting there going, okay, is this going to be one of those? This is another sympathetic villain. You know, they're put in this situation where she's not just some menace. Somebody who she's not Ronin. She's not just some heretic that's like, I want to burn Xandar to the ground because, you know, it's the Kree's way. She's like, I'm trying to save my people. Like, we're dying on our planet. You know, I'm doing this for a life-saving purposes. And also, and if I can get some revenge in the meantime, look, I'm going to take out the Skrulls, you know, adopted planet. Cool. Eventually, I'm going to get the Annihilator's planet, and, you know, I'm going to get all this taste of revenge. But there's no just, ha, 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 I'm doing this because I'm evil. I'm doing this because I'm trying to save people. And I wish they would have leaned into that so that she's just not this one note villain. And they gave you a taste of it in the scene, and I was like, cool, we're gonna get some more of this. And then it was like, nope. That's it. There you go.
Could you imagine if you would have seen some Kree children, right, being like, are you really gonna bring us the sun? You know, and all of a sudden we're like, oh damn,
the deal for her as a sympathetic villain.
I would be like, damn, you're gonna have to bring them kids the sun. You just told them. You just told them you're gonna bring them water. Like, if you would have had like a Kree child, Darban, are you really gonna bring us water? Damn it! Yes, that's exactly what.
Yes,
we go get some of that water.
2 sons.
Because you're right, we didn't really get a face besides her and a couple of like the random blue people. There's no real like face of the human face of the Kree. And I don't mean human to be specious. I mean human like to connect us, like to show, you know, a bit of connection there. So yeah, the girls are having talk. Kamala tells Carol that she thinks Darben is using the quantum bands to open jump points. And Carol's like, those bands are supposed to be a myth. They're an ancient artifact that were forged to create every jump point in the universe. The 3 of them decide they need to get their powers in sync and keep the second bangle as far away from Darben as possible. As right now, she's only able to use her universal weapon to charge the band into making unstable jump points. With both of them, it could spell doom for our heroes. Any speculation as to who made these bands, or does it all go back to Kang?
Well, from the comics, it was said that Eon made the quantum bands, gave him the Quasar, you know, the defender of the universe, or someone who's like worthy to be the defender of the universe. And the last time we saw Eon was like in Love and Thunder. He was one of the statues.
The eons ago.
I'm weak.
Yeah, that's something that bothered me. I was just sitting there going, okay, it's bad enough since Miss Marvel's show, we're sitting there going, okay, why does why does Kamala's grandmother have this band?
Yeah.
But then to see the other one show the other one to show up in the middle of space somewhere, it's like, okay, can we get something to explain these?
It seems like Earth
things?
is like the dumping ground of the universe for all types of magical or dangerous
artifacts and stuff like that.
Like
yeah,
the Tesseract, the Bangle, like Jesus Christ, 3 Infinity Stones for God's sakes.
yeah, we got to figure out what's going on. Yeah, because I think that the Bengals and the bands are tied somehow. I don't know how, but this could all be tech left over by futurists, Kangs to start all of this in motion the way it's supposed to. But realizing that Kamala caught a glimpse of where Dar-Ben might be going next, Carol hooks the other two up to the Disney Plus machine thing. And using the tech, they're able to find where the villain is going. But then some deleted scenes from Captain Marvel start to play, and Monica gets very upset because she didn't see these scenes of her mother dying because she was blipped. And she's like, "Why are you showing this to me?" And Carol's like, just doing it. I mean, it's subconsciously, but it upsets Monica, who was blipped and never got to say goodbye to her mom. The other two embrace her, and Monica softens. Rambeau says if Dar-Ben keeps using the band alongside her staff, she could create a rift in space-time. Captain Marvel realizes Dar-Ben must be using the bands to transport natural resources from other planets to Hela, using planets near and dear to Carol to do so. Figuring she'll be after water next, they decide to go to the water planet Aldana. Kamala's mom forbids her from space adventures. And we see that the Khans are hanging out with Nick Fury, who's babysitting them and Goose en route to the Saber HQ. They do their best to convince Kamala's mom to give Kamala her blessing, and she does, after threatening to hurt Carol if anything happens to her daughter. Again, I still like them being little hangers-on. I even like her brother. Her brother's pretty funny when they're talking to the other guy, and he's like, "How old are you?" And the guy's like 300. He goes, "Oh yeah, same age." And he's pointing to the father. That was pretty funny. He's like trying to FaceTime his fiance. Oh no, they're married now. We saw the wedding in Ms. Marvel.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to FaceTime his wife on the spaceship, and Fury's like, no cell phones.
Yeah, no cell. Yeah, like top secret information here.
I like when Kamala has the tablet. She's like, if it's all top secret, why is it on a clear screen?
Right, those comedy moments,
see right through it, because you can see right through it. And even when Nick Fury's like, we've been keeping our eye on you for a while now. The mother's like, you've been doing surveillance on us, which is technically what that means, right? You've been watching.
Sir, I wouldn't use the word surveillance,
which is basically his way of being like, yeah, totally been doing that. So yeah, I think they're great, and yeah, the fact that her mother boy is gonna ground her, Kamala, I do not allow you to go on these space adventures. It's sweet. And yeah, I think this movie has a lot to say about women, strong women trying to be strong while also trying to be vulnerable, between Dar-Ben, Monica's mom, Carol for Kamala herself, Kamala's mom. There's many facets to strong women. But Kamala's mom also remarks that Goose is a bit pudgy and acting weird. Later on the Saber ship, pods start to populate all over the space station. And if you've read Kelly Sue DeConnick's run of Captain Marvel, some of these pods looked quite familiar. The heroes practice. Yeah. The heroes practice mastering their entanglement in a fun montage set to Beastie Boys Intergalactic, and seems ready when they land on Aldana. What do you guys think of this montage? I'll start with you, B-Roke.
I liked the look of this planet. I wish they would have embraced the
before that, the montage of them training with their powers. They're jump roping.
I apologize. Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely it's team building. It's team building. It's them working together and trying to see, hey, making this work. I mean, to me, that's how many times have we seen other movies where an issue like this is just a constant, well, just get away from me, or this is so annoying. What do we
This
have
is
to do
why I
this?
work alone.
This is why I work alone. Whereas they figure out a way. Let's embrace this. We have to embrace this. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make up combos. We're gonna do Marvel Ultimate Alliance type stuff with it with these powers. Because
Right?
I like that they didn't just say, okay, let's figure out how to just switch. It was, well, let's figure out how to switch in motion. Let's figure out where our powers are at when we are switching. So it was cool to see them, double dutching, and then see them balancing books on their heads, and see them, different ways to jump around. And, well, do we switch on 3, or do we do 3 then?
That was funny, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go. But the other two switch. You said switch on 3. Why would you say go?
So it was a fun montage. All we needed was South Park's "You Need a Montage." That's that. Yeah. I would have preferred that song. You need a montage. Montage.
How do you feel about that montage, A-Rob?
I thought it was like when you first start to learn how to cook, but over time you master it and you get better, and then you have your perfect meal, and that's what it was like to me, for real. Like, you don't really see that a lot, and well, you do see it a lot, but when it comes to these kind of team up movies, you don't really see that montage of the heroes actually, like, put in that work together to actually function as a team. It just sort of happens.
Yeah, they immediately have chemistry and immediately are just really, really good at teaming up. I do agree the South Park montage song would have been great. What I love about the use of intergalactic, besides the obvious implications of the title intergalactic and them being in space, is there any 3-man team more in sync than the Beastie Boys? Like, is there any sort of 3-person rap group? I mean, you're going like 2, I'd go, gosh, I just knew the 2. Is it Noriega and
3-man rap group?
2, yeah, 3-man rap group.
The Locks.
Locks are great. Locks, I'd say the Locks. Yeah. But I'm looking like the fact that they were using this song to me just shows like that's the level of in sync synchronicity they're trying to achieve with this, the Beastie Boys level, where they're literally all rapping and then ending on the same word, right? Especially in this song. Very, very well done. And a lot of fun. Again, like, we've been dealing with a lot of bleak stuff. I'm happy that we deal with a lot of adult stuff in the MCU. I'm glad we've all matured. But on occasion, man, give me some of this stuff too. You kind of gotta weigh it out. Once they get to Aldana, it is there that Carol lets them in on a little secret. She's a local celebrity on the planet after helping their prince with a legal issue. After they meet some of the planet's inhabitants who suddenly break into song, Danvers tells her crew that that's how they communicate on this planet, exclusively through song. They meet the prince and find out that Carol's actually married to him to prevent some political disaster. Carol tells the prince of the threat of Darben and asks the prince if he can make them some new suits. We'll get back to those guys all in a bit, but I figure this moment and a moment later on made or broke people's opinions on this film. How do you feel when this moment started happening, A-Rob? People just start singing. It kind of becomes a little musical for a bit.
My first thought, I had 2 initial thoughts. One, I'm surprised Thanos hasn't pulled up on this planet. 2, it added to the overall just landscape of the cosmic side of the MCU for me, because there's all types of planets, universes, cultures, religions, and all that, and of course there will be a planet of people who communicate strictly in song.
Right.
And I like how later on it led to a joke with the prince being bilingual, that he can speak without singing.
Right. Really, really good stuff.
So I appreciated the whole sequence. Like, I remember reading there was supposed to be like even more dance sequences and an even bigger dance number, but I guess they left that on the cutting room floor for whatever reason why. I guess a Flurkin ate it. I don't know.
This is the kind of moment to me, the reason why I like shows like Doom Patrol and Sandman is sometimes they do absolutely ridiculous stuff without really having to explain it. And they get that from comics. A lot of comic stuff is just weird, and they don't have to explain it. You're supposed to buy into it as you buy into the world. And this felt very much like that. Get as ridiculous as you want. I really don't care so long as it's entertaining. But were you rolling your eyes in this moment, B Roke?
No, I dug it. It's something again different, right? Just as Rob said, you're exploring this massive galaxy, the universe, even. Why not stumble across a planet like this? Why wouldn't something like this possibly exist? So I thought it was fun, and I'm pretty sure I forget. I think there was a Twilight Zone episode or some other sci-fi. I think it was maybe a Doctor Who episode where they basically did the same premise. So this is not totally,
Buffy too has an episode.
Or
I think
Buffy, right? Buffy, I think had it.
Everyone has to sing. Arrowverse did it, where the Mr. Spitalik or the Music Meister or one of those people who did something, and the whole episode's a musical. It happens.
So right. so if it exists there, why not exist here? And I wish they would have done more with it. And I think there was more to do with it, especially with something that I'm upset with, because the way he was introduced, the king of this planet.
Yes.
I forget the character's name, but it was played a turn, because the way he was introduced, I'm sitting there going, my first thing was, is this guy a member of BTS? But apparently he's
man was handsome as shit for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sitting there going, this guy, the way they introduce him, he's supposed to be a big deal. And in researching it, his name is King. Oh man, I don't want to butcher this.
Park Seo-joon.
There you go.
Prince Yan, right? And it's just like, okay, this guy is supposed to like be a big deal. I could just feel that from the way they were filming it, and they made him this much of a purpose in the movie. And I wish we would have gotten to see more out of him, because I'm pretty sure the guy, if he's making billions of dollars for the Koreans, put that more to work in this movie and see what he can do. Yeah. You know? So I was just a little upset with that, but everything else about it, the dance, I would have loved to see more of dance sequences and see Kamala and Monica have to do some singing. I thought it would have been a lot of fun. I like when Carol just cuts the shit and starts talking to him regular, and then they walk over to Monica and Kamala, who are both dancing. They're both just grooving to the music in the background. Again, just get with it. Like, it's all crazy. Just get with it. But I want to go to this guy's tailor. He just pulls up 3 new intergalactic suits for these women. Super cool. They get their own new costumes. What I like the most about it is they gave Monica those little web wing things.
Her classic look.
She's like, what the hell am I need these for? Hey girl, they got a whole thing that goes over your face. You don't want them to keep.
I wish we would have at least gotten one shot. I wish we would have gotten one front shot of her like opening it up and being like, what do you do with this? Like, how do I use this? You know, instead of we just saw it from the back and she just quickly tears them off. I was like, oh,
to be fair, she's in a universe now where maybe somebody else who rocks those could be like, hey, come on, man, we can make this look good, you know? So I was like, because I got some definite vibes when she started lighting up in the white and got the white eyes. I was like, oh, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is looking quite similar, this right here. So Fury examines various eggs popping up on the ship and is shocked to see that the ship is rapidly becoming infested with them. In their new suits, the Marvels stand alongside the soldiers of Aldana and wait Darben, who shows up with a fleet of her own. Darben demands the King kneel. This woman is married to Tom Hiddleston, so I thought that was quite ironic. They both like people to kneel, and somebody's kneeling in that household. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if I want to take my bet as to who, but she demands that the prince kneel, and when he refuses, both sides wage war. As they battle, Darben uses the universal weapon and quantum band to open another jump point and draws the ocean water to Hala. Carol takes down several enemy ships before piloting a ship with Monica and Kamala on it in pursuit of Darben. Thing is, she's being targeted by several Kree ships who lock onto their ship and prepare to fire missiles. They try to talk Carol into using a jump point to ensure Dar-Benn doesn't get the other bangle, but she stubbornly refuses, fearing Dar-Benn will escape. Kamala forces the use of a jump point and apologizes later, but Carol explains that this is all her fault. That's why she's been so adamant about fixing this issue herself and why she never returned to Earth, in fear of Monica seeing her as the Annihilator as well. This is another really kind of cool moment where Carol almost kills everybody because she don't want to listen. They're like, do the jump point. She's like, no, we're gonna get Darby. Nope, we need to do this fucking jump point. What do you guys think of this characterization of Carol? She seems almost listless in her trying to stop the many different problems going on around her. It goes to great lengths to not show her as perfect and not show that she has so much power that she could just wipe this whole situation away, which she kind of does in Captain Marvel and in Infinity War or in Endgame. She kind of just shows up, blows up a bunch of stuff, and this is not a situation you can just blow up. A-Rod, what do you think about this somber moment where she tells her crew that, like, you know, this is her fault. She wanted to fix this on her own, and until it was fixed, she wasn't going to come back to because she didn't want to disappoint Monica.
I thought it was really human. Like, at the core of her being, that she just really wants to do right by the people that she cares for and loves. Like, it really showed that even though she's one of the most powerful characters, not all problems can be solved by just punching your way through it or punching your way out of it. Like, there is some nuance, there is some finesse, there is some reason, understanding that one has to go through in a certain journey that may not be physical, but like emotional, that one has to go through to get there to the real end of their journey. And seeing that, it showed that, you know, like Carol, there's a lot more to Carol that we haven't seen yet, and there's still a lot more that's going to be shown with her character in the MCU. And it just opens the door for her, honestly.
Yeah. What you think, B-Roke?
No, it's definitely seeing the softer side of her, seeing her not be this just brick wall of a character that we saw most of. I mean, after watching it twice, I was keeping count. I was like, I want to see how many times we see a different emotion come out of this character. And so it was nice in this movie that we did see that, where they introduced us, like you said, way back in the beginning, all alone on the ship, kind of just very blah, just this is my existence, this is my purpose, to then, you know, slowly, like the shell was breaking to where, look, she even apologizes quickly to Kamala. And now in this scene, seeing her just be like fragile, like, look, I don't want to be seen as this weapon of a person. I'm a person. Look, I have character traits. I'm more than just this one note character. So yeah, I don't want to just be seen this way. So it was nice to see that come out.
Yeah, something I'm realizing as I'm talking to you guys about it now is that something that she almost kind of shares with Steve in a way, where she's lived for so long that she doesn't have really equals, right? She doesn't have anyone to talk to on a Tuesday, have a bad day, talk to about any of this kind of stuff. Her only value she may perceive is as a soldier, and to have value as a soldier is to always fight. Is to find wars, right? Because if you can't find conflicts, if you can't find things that for you to solve, then what are you? And the dragon she's chasing is this original sin, not to borrow from another book, of the Hala, you know, ruining stuff for the Kree, you know, and we got to believe this is not the first time she's hooked that machine up to herself, trying to pull back memories and try to figure out still piece together what's going on. She's trying to figure out who she is after, you know, everything happened with Yon-Rogg and the Kree. She knows who she is to the Avengers. She's a soldier. She knows who she is to Nick Fury. She's an operative. You know, she knows who she is to the Kree. She's the Annihilator. But who is she when she's by herself? She doesn't know. And she's learning that through Carol. She's learning that through Monica. And again, I'm liking Carol more because of this. I'm liking the different, and it kind of gives a backdoor excuse. I won't even say reason, excuse for why she was stoic, you know, before. Now we get kind of a little bit more flares of her personality, or what can be the personality of Captain Marvel, which I like a lot. Monica says they're family and they all share gratitude for each other when an unstable jump point opens, putting them back on task. The surge causes the Saber HQ to malfunction and catch fire, so everyone on board needs to evacuate. Problem is, there's not enough ships for people on board. As he tries to put out a fire, Fury finds another egg that hatches, revealing a kitten, or it looks to be a kitten. As we know them now, it is a flurkin. And there is a flurkin infestation. There's a flurkin infestation. There's a mother flurkin infestation all over this.
Get these flurkins off my flurkin spaceship.
It's right there. We're making that meme. Get these flurkins off this mother flurkin spaceship. And all of a sudden, Fury has an idea, because we've seen that flurkin can ingest a person without harming them. So the plan is to have everyone ingested by the various kittens/flurkins, and then place those kittens/flurkins into the few pods they have available. The Marvels arrive and they help with this evacuation, which is a montage set to a song from the musical Cats. Again, I think this is the second part in the movie that you're either on board with, or you're rolling your eyes to the back of your head until you get a headache. B-Rogue, where do you sit?
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of rolled my eyes about this one a little bit. I was kind of like, this was a bit, especially it was too perfect in how they had to do it. If maybe Kamala had to get swallowed, or one of the heroes had to get swallowed too.
Yeah.
You know,
Nick,
give me
because Nick was like, nah, I'll be in with the cats.
Yeah, I'll deal with the cats. Fine.
I'll ride it with them. Shotgun.
But just the fact that how this whole situation presented itself was just like, oh, okay. You're right. You just kind of got to roll with it. But for me, that was where it was just like, okay.
Yeah, I totally get it. Where do you stand on it, A-Rob?
I was here for it. I was like, oh, this is a space adventure. Throw in all the zaniness, throw in all the craziness.
Right.
So I was here for it for the most part. Like, and it at moments it felt like it was like, okay, they could have gone through they could have done this a little bit differently, right. But just for the sake of just keeping the movie fun, I feel like that's why they left the scene in, honestly. Yeah. And the whole time, Kamala's still workshopping code names for Monica.
Yeah, Professor Marvel. I like all that.
Professor Marvel. I like that she threw in Spectrum.
She did. Man. She threw in Photon, I want to say.
No, she never said Photon. She never said Photon. She never said
Photon's her mother's call sign. Again, yeah, it was Spectrum.
But she said, right. But she says Spectrum. She says Spectrum. Yeah.
So I think what makes this scene funny to me, obviously because it's ridiculous on the face of it, but what makes it funnier is it could have been a point in which Nick Fury gives a PowerPoint presentation and explains to these people what's about to happen, and they all stand in line and get inside these flurkins. But instead, it's just blaring over the loudspeakers. Calm down. do not flip out. Allow the flurkins to attack you. And so it looks like a space station being attacked by kittens. And there's just something so ridiculous on the face of that I found it quite humorous. But I can see people being on they swung for the fences, we'll say that. And I absolutely dig, at least when people try, when they attempt, man. Do, again, something different. My whole beef with Blue Beetle was I was like, that's from this movie. That's from this movie. That's from this movie. I can't say I know any movie where a group of cats systematically takes down an entire space station. So thank you for swinging for the fences there. They once everyone's in a kitten, they jettison the escape pods, which land safely on Earth. There, the flurkins regurgitate their hosts, who are safe and sound. Dar-Ben, whose final target is Earth's sun, is confronted by Captain Marvel. Ben demands the other band, but the rest of the Marvels show up and surround her. I was paying much more attention the second time I watched this. They beat the out of her. They surround her and they triple team the ever living, to the point where like a pillar falls and she's about to die because she's stabbed in the stomach. Like she gets jumped. I was like, dang. And at one point, I think like Monica like phases and grabs her hammer and hits her with it, and she just flies halfway across the ship, smashes against the pillar. Pillar falls on her. I was like, damn.
It definitely had those Rick and Morty vibes of when him and his granddaughter,
him and Summer,
him and Summer get buff for this. Like, you about to get yours. You're about to get yours.
All you need is that Office Space music.
Put your teeth on the curb.
When they're beating up the printer in Office Space. You just need that music in the background. And again, inventive choreography. Such inventive choreography, as there's like a shot of them all like flipping and jumping and all jumping towards Darben that I think people have seen in the trailer. Really, really beautiful stuff. It's almost impossible to explain. So I know I'm undercutting it, but the fight scenes are worth looking out for yourself or searching out for yourself. Carol agrees to help kickstart Hala's son, seeing as she was the one who helped destroy it. She's like, yeah, you know what, I'll do that. She attempts to help Darben up, but the villain uses the moment to take Kamala as hostage. Not only am I upset that she's taking Kamala as hostage, I'm getting PTSD moments of Thanos with Thor. Is it where he's pressing the thing out against against his skull, and I'm like, what are you doing? You better stop. This is bullshit.
But that's a child.
Yeah, exactly. So she eventually gets her hands on the other bangle, and she uses both bangles in unison to tear open another hole in space, and then is seemingly completely obliterated as a side effect. Just gone. Absolutely just gone. And I laughed in the theater, but it wasn't like a laugh that was dumb. It was just like I guess that's what happened. Because we've seen this happen a couple times. Like I always think of I will not be your slave. And she grabs the Infinity Stone and then she blows up. Like
Red Skull.
Read the instructions. Read the instructions. It's Nick Fury says, stop touching shit. Stop touching shit.
Yeah.
That you don't know about.
This whole her road to this moment just made her. She went what I was saying earlier, hoping to be the sympathetic villain to just like, oh, you're nuts, you're insane, you're crazy. You grab these two artifacts that even Captain Marvel, who can use these things, just telling you, a regular Kree person, don't use these things. Stop it. You already. And
I will start the sun. I'll do it. I'll start the sun. Beef. I got you.
Right. And I'm just gonna get up. I'm gonna threaten to crush this little girl's head. And give me these two bangles so I can open this rift in the universe. For what? Like you went from being potentially sympathetic to just like, nah, you're crazy. You're crazy.
You gotta admit though. That riff is pretty astonishing.
It is
downright uncanny. It's Hey Rob, what do you feel about this moment with this villain? We hardly knew her, but what do you think about the demise of Darben?
Oh, same formula as phase 1 and 2 when it comes to the villains. Like, they're here to help. They're here as a stepping stone on the path of our heroes, and once that stepping stone has been stepped on, it is washed away and forgotten.
And in her case, she got boot stomped.
Yes, she did. Stop him in the nuts. She got boot stomped. Yes, she did.
She really got jumped like in that JoJo meme.
Yeah. When the guy stepping the drink and runs over and starts helping him.
Yep.
She leaves a rupture in the multiverse, as well as both bangles, and Kamala takes possession of them both. We find out two things. One, Kamala can use her powers without the bangles. And two, though they're no longer entangled. I feel like I just rhymed and I didn't mean to. But those are the cases going on right there. The Marvels decide to combine their powers to energize Monica so she can seal the rupture, but she has to do it from the other side. Carol starts to realize that this means Monica will be trapped in the other reality, something Monica knew when coming up with the plan. She gives a tearful goodbye and seals the rupture. Carol tries to fly towards her, but to no avail. Danvers eventually flies into Hala's sun and uses her powers to restore it. We seemingly lost somebody else, but come on, man. Did any of you guys think she was gone in this moment, Monica?
No. No.
No?
No way. No. Unless there's an actual dead body, then they're confirmed gone. Like, no.
Because they literally said it's another reality bleeding into ours, so you're just in another reality. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll go get you right when we go pick up Ezra Miller from the Clooney verse. we're making stops, baby. We're making stops. B-Rope,
right.
Did you think she was gone?
No.
No? Okay. Just making sure.
No, man. Never. This is just what is this setting up? It was like, ooh, you know, like
right the whole time. I was like, ooh,
like,
what universe is she in now?
Exactly. So
Yep.
I was half expecting to see something like the Annihilators.
Okay.
You know, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. What I like is that for those who have been following, I think there's enough breadcrumb trails for you to, you know, come to your own conclusions about what's about to happen as it closes. But for those who don't know, they're allowed a somber moment, but they don't play it too somber. Whereas when you find out that she's not dead, it's a rug pulled out from underneath you, you know? So I thought that was all done well. And I thought giving Monica this big moment was cool. Kamala had her own show. Carol had her own movie. Monica gets this big moment here. And she's going to be the liaison, seemingly, at least for one connection, to a different reality. So I think that's also very, very cool. So they go back, and is it that Carol or Kamala moves into Maria's old house?
It is Kamala's family.
Yeah,
because the way the mom talks to the son about, oh, this is a great place to raise children. I think she makes some kind of comment like that. I think they're trying to say it's going to be her house.
Because we also saw Carol's medal, that weird picture with the prince. Carol.
Well, I mean, the house is big enough so they could all live there, but just Carol is going to be in and out, you know, on space adventures. It's going to mostly be the Khan's house.
Yeah. I like
so does that mean if they do a Miss Marvel season 2, does that mean she's going to be
in Louisiana?
You know, the hero of Louisiana.
Like, come on, man, Jersey, East Coast, what you doing out here? No, she needs chopped cheeses and stuff. We can't have her out there. Are they cooking halal food in Louisiana? I don't know. These are important questions we got to ask, man.
We need to know this. Will she be encountering the vampires from True Blood?
Yeah. I also, Suki. I mean, which is a rogue variant. So there's that out there. There's that out there in the world. But I love that. Seemingly they have this all house together. Maybe it's just temporary. We'll see. But the idea is that they are going to wait for Monica the same way Monica's mom was going to wait for Monica. The same way Monica's mom thought Monica would come back from the blip. They are willing to believe that there's a possibility that Monica will come back from wherever she is currently. And they reminisce a little bit about this little short-lived team up, which inspires the ending scene of this, where Kamala seeks out another hero to create a group when she shows up at Kate Bishop's house, and in a scene very reminiscent, almost directly ripped out of the end of Iron Man 1.
Literally.
She welcomes Kate Bishop to a new world while also saying that she's not the only superhero in it. And there's some allusions that they might be bringing in Cassie Lang. I thought that was very well done. I thought that was very fun. Again, reminiscent. I'm a fan of the MCU, so you just did an MCU reference in the MCU. And again, I don't know how she would have known Nick Fury said that to Iron Man. I don't care, really. I don't know. I don't really care. I thought it was all cute enough on the face of it. And her trying to be like doom and gloom in the hat, sitting in the chair. I thought all of that really worked. And the delight on my face just to see Kate Bishop in her outfit. Just like, I felt like I haven't seen her in so long. And she's just there. And I'm like, I remember you. You were cool. And this other girl's cool. So now y'all going to be cool friends. B-Roke, what do you think of this ending of this film?
I'll be honest with you. I was more excited about this part of the movie than I was the after credit scene.
Interesting.
Because like we spoke about this in the past. The X-Men and the Fantastic Four, I can wait. I can wait another year, 2, or even 3 years. I don't need that rushed. However, if one thing's been set up, which they finally got to here, this whole phase 4, phase 5 time is the young Avengers / champions, or whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's been set up. They introduced, Isaiah Bradley. They've introduced what looks like either a Hulkling or Scar. We've gotten Cassie Lang. We've gotten Kate Bishop. We've got Miss Marvel. We've got the twins that they can pull out of the fabric of reality. So it's there.
So somebody please go pick up America, because she's in Carmitage and there ain't nobody there her age. There ain't nobody there. Right, she's out there chilling with bowls and stuff.
Exactly. All these characters they have now, it's coming together, and for me, I like that the idea that they're going to be the street level, the low level Avengers team. They're going to be fun. They're going to be young. They're going to be hip. They're going to be cool, all that good stuff. So I'm really excited for where that's going, especially seeing Kate Bishop, because she definitely was a lot of fun in the Hawkeye show. So yeah, give me that, and give me that like right after Deadpool, and I'll be happy. Another movie where the some of them start to meet up. Hey, let's go meet up with Kate in this, or Cassie's over here. Give me that. I need that. I'm really excited.
I dig it.
I feel it. I've been wanting Young Avengers ever since Tommy, ever since the Wanda's kid showed up in WandaVision. I've been wanting Young Avengers for a long time. Matter of fact, ever since Keener and Iron Man 3, like I've been wanting Young Avengers, and this set it up perfectly. Like it's probably going to come out sometime before Kang Dynasty. I'm calling it probably 2025. Summer 2025.
Oh, you think it's gonna come out before all that big stuff?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just to give us a young version of Kang.
I think this is the new lifeblood injected. These new chemistries with these new characters, their backgrounds, their futures together, futures that we know from comics, futures that they may change and twist. All that's super interesting. What if we get Kid Loki, doing what he does with the Young Avengers, which is a whole thing there. Who knows? But yeah, man, they really, really set things up. In one sense, they set things up for the future. And then in a mid-credit scene, Monica Rambeau wakes up in a parallel universe where she is greeted by an alternate version of her mother, Maria Rambeau, who is identified as binary, and the mutant scientist Hank McCoy, aka Beast, who says that Charles would like an update. Bum bum bum. She's stuck in the X-Men universe. Which X-Men universe?
Oh, yo, I lost my ever-loving shit in the theater. I was like, Kelsey Grammer's talking about, like, oh shit, wait.
And he's got the lab coat. That felt good. He's got the lab coat on.
Jawline. He looked comic accurate Beast from the 90s X-Men. Yep.
Yeah, the underbite, which is pretty cool. So I wonder if they're going to try to establish a completely new X-Men universe, or just tie one of the ones that are hanging and dangling. Because we have 2, 3 timelines.
I want to say there are 3 X-Men timelines they can pull from, and from what I'm looking at, especially considering we've already seen the Xavier from this timeline, what it looks like is this is the X-Men animated series timeline.
That would be very interesting. Because
this is not the Beast. This is not the Beast from.
That's what
X3.
I'm saying. It's not exactly the Beast from X3, and
So they're pulling from that 90s era look, which is the animated series, which I'm all for. I'm fine with that. Like, we want to keep pulling from that universe, especially considering they are doing X-Men 97.
So that could pay off to promote that. They wouldn't have the same Charles though, because his ass is dead.
Right? Yeah, because we are getting the comic book accurate version of Wolverine in Deadpool 3. So maybe it's that universe's X-Men that we saw in Deadpool's universe, because all his X-Men are still alive.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. And there's no even proof that this is where everything lies. There could also be, this could be one of many universes that ends up getting broken and ruptured into this. So this could be one universe with X-Men, a different universe with Fantastic Four, a different universe with Spider People, etc. and so forth. But the thing is, it's starting to happen. The leaks are starting to happen. We've seen our second/third Infinity Stone. This is where we're at in the, like it's not just one with like off. It happens. We did No Way Home. Okay, ruptures, multiverse. Yeah. No. It's falling apart now. Now people are getting stuck on other sides. Somebody help the Vulture. He's stuck where Morbius is at.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody needs to help his.
No,
I hope Vulture
that's going to be Madam Web. That's going to be Madam Web. That's going to be Madam Web's job. What is our purpose in this universe? To get Vulture the hell out of here.
Yes, and then we're locking the door on the Sonyverse so no one can come in and no one can come out.
Yeah, that's it. We're stuck here. Craven, sit down. You're stuck with us.
Right. Sit down, Tom Hardy. You can't go anywhere either. You keep trying to go out the window. We're not going to let you. But yeah, again, I thought this film was short, swift, dug the pacing, dug the characters, made me excited for the future of Marvel, and I'd go see it again. You saw it twice, B-Roke, and if it was any of a dour or longer or more boring movie, you would have been pulling your hair out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I the second time around, I was still enjoying it, still laughing at the lines, still enjoying the reveals. I still got the goosebumps from seeing Kate Bishop and then Beast, and then also something we haven't even mentioned, Binary, seeing Maria.
Right?
Seeing Maria Rambeau as Binary, another form of Captain Marvel, because she was another Captain Marvel in Multiverse of Madness, and now here she is the binary form of Captain Marvel. So it's like, whoa, that's some cool stuff.
Is Carol an anomaly? If Maria keeps getting the powers other places, is Carol the odd one in the odd variant, the Sylvie of it all? That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, So
what about when? No, I was gonna say, what about when the brother was praying, and Nick Fury's like, "Are you praying? I didn't tell you to stop."
We need everybody. Amen.
Yeah, he said we're gonna need everybody. Samuel L. Jackson was having a blast in this. No, someone must have told him that he didn't just have like a whole civil war down with the Skrulls a couple months either before or after this.
Exactly.
But yeah, I completely dug this. And I'm excited for what the future Marvel has to hold. And knowing that Deadpool's up on the horizon, we still got some shows to be released. Echo's coming. We're gonna be diving in some of that. Yeah, man. I'm excited for the rest of this. But
wait. I'm sorry. Another clue to give us that this must have taken place before Secret Invasion. This movie was supposed to come out like 6 months before Secret Invasion.
That's true.
That is true. It's supposed to come out in July.
Yeah. Yeah, they named Talos names that general or that king. He says
Emperor Drudge.
He says everyone who's not in Emperor Drudge's colony, he called down to Earth. So there's some connection there they could tie or want to tie or whatever. And then you got Gaia, who's just like has more powers than Captain Marvel, just walking around Earth. So we might want to tie up that loose end when we can. But we're tying up all the loose ends we can here as part of Comic Book Clique. We'll be coming back next week to tackle Loki season 2. Is there anything else you guys want to say on the Marvels?
I hope the Annihilators are coming through. Give us Silver Surfer and Beta Ray Bill, and I can't wait for Captain Marvel 3.
And Mephisto did it.
And Mephisto.
Yes, Mephisto always did it.
So why you had to spoil that, man? You had to spoil that. Terrible. We were going to talk about that next week. What I want to say is give the movie a chance, guys. Don't listen to the reviews. Don't let it. Go see it. Go see it in theaters. Don't wait for it to be on Disney Plus. You're going to want to see the spectacle. Give it a chance. Give it a chance. Get out there. Support this movie. and show us some love. Don't just listen to the corny reviews.
Yeah, man. It's always fun on this side, and even when the stuff that we cover is not that fun, we always find a way to make it fun. So thank you guys for both being on this episode of the podcast. Like I said, we're returning next week with Loki season 2 talk. As we finish out this year, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast, for sharing it. Every episode of the Major Issues podcast is available wherever podcasts are found. That's Podbean, Stitcher Podcast, Addict, the Apple Podcast app, TuneFind, YouTube, Spotify, and more. The easiest way to find us is to go to ComicBookClique.com, because that's the one stop for everything Comic Book Clique. Our merchandise, articles written by us, and it's the quickest way for you to get to our patreon.com/CBC Clubhouse, where for as little as $3 a month, 10 cents a day, you can help keep our lights on here as we try to afford the hardware and the software that we need each and every week to provide content to you guys free of charge. There's over 300 episodes of the Major Issues podcast available at comicbookclique.com. But like I said, it's available wherever podcasts are found. The easiest way to find it, Google Major Issues Podcast, and we'll be the first ones to pop right up. So that's exciting. But we're all over social media, constantly trying to engage with you guys. It's been a hell of a week for us in social media this week, with some of the posts going viral for good or bad reasons, depending on what we're talking about. But we're always talking about something. So make sure you're joining in on the conversation by going to facebook.com/comicbookclique, Instagram at ComicBookClique, or use the hashtag ComicBookClique to talk about the newest, hottest, latest, and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. I am at Major Issues CBC on Twitter, and also at Major Issues CBC on Twitch. I think tomorrow I'll be finishing up the story mode for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which is exciting. Ooh. I can't wait to finish playing that game. It's been a lot of fun. But we're hoping to do more in the future when these other games drop. We're supposed to be getting a update on Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League soon. I'm figuring out what's all going on there. But yeah, follow us wherever we are. Support us however you can. A-Rob, where can people find you?
Everyone can find me at A-Rob the Marvel Guy. You can find me at A-Rob the Marvel Guy on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, just anywhere for social media or anywhere with content. You can find me just sharing, creating, doing anything with Marvel. It's all Marvel, baby. The Marvel train doesn't stop, Morty. It doesn't stop, Morty. It doesn't stop. Not season Marvel, Morty.
1,000 episodes. B-Rogue, do you want to be found?
You can find me right here, guys. You can me? You can find me right here.
Hey, bro, you're always welcome here.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, I guess that all that's left to say is that rate and review us on iTunes. It's the quickest way for us to grow as podcasters and find out what you like and what you don't. Because I've been to the future where we do become the latest and greatest thing to come to comic books, comic book media. But I can't tell you how we do it because it'll mess up the timeline. And next thing you know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's playing Charles Xavier, and nobody wants that. He's going to try to jump on that train, bro. That train's moving and it's got money behind it. Rock, stay away. So make sure you're following us. Get on the bandwagon before the bandwagon gets full, and join us next week for our Loki season 2 recap and review. But my name is George Serrano, aka The Don.
And I'm A-Rob the Marvel God.
And I am Alex, aka B-Roke, but not tired of the Marvels.
And remember, whether you get your powers from a light, a staff, you got that X gene, or you're part of Generation X, always remember that we are the Clique, and always remember that you, yes, you, are worthy.